if you do have like the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, which was an amazing Samsung Galaxy Note experience, or if you're looking to upgrade one of your Android devices to the Note 20 Plus Ultra, or you're coming from Apple, is this phone worth getting? I'm going to tell you that in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. So as I said, I'm a long time Note user, and I'll always begin every single Note review by saying that the only reason to get your hands on a Samsung Galaxy Note brand nowadays, and arguably over the past couple of years, would be the S Pen. It's the biggest differentiating factor between every other smartphone that's on the market. If you talk about like an iPhone or a OnePlus phone or a Google phone, the one thing those phones don't have is the S Pen, and it's the main selling point for the Samsung Galaxy Note line and one of the main reasons to purchase a Note in 2020. And because that is the differentiating factor and the biggest thing the Samsung Galaxy Note has, that's where we're going to start with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. The S Pen has gotten a bump overall in performance, not so much feature-wise, but that's fine because the features of the S Pen has always been pretty good. But now with the Ultra's high refresh rate at 120 Hertz on the display, the latency of the S Pen has actually gone down to about 9 milliseconds, and that makes writing super responsive and actually feels like pen to paper, which I think is something that Samsung's been striving for ever since the S Pen was conceived. The S Pen has kind of just gotten progressively better and better and better over the course of the generations of the Notes that have been developed. Samsung's kind of had this idea of what they want the S Pen to be, a fully extension of pen to paper, and that low latency coupled with that high refresh rate on the screen actually gives you that feel of pen to paper. It's amazing to write with this S Pen, and it's definitely one of the benefits that you're going to get if you go past the Note 10 into the Note 20 Ultra. Again, it's going to be that high refresh rate with the low latency in the S Pen, and if you're a Note user at all, you know how important that S Pen is, and it just adds to the fact that using it feels so much more fluid, so much more better on the Note 20 Ultra. And of course, the overall improvement of the S Pen improves the overall features that the S Pen offers. Things like Smart Select, giving you the ability to basically select a specific portion of the screen and it becomes a screenshot that's editable and shareable, or Screen Write, which is another really cool way of taking a snapshot of any media that's currently on your screen. So if you're a person that likes to take memes from social media, or if you're a person that likes to look at memes and capture things and share it with other people, that's where the Samsung Galaxy Note really differentiates itself from a lot of these smartphones that are currently on the market. It basically gives you the ability to use that S Pen to be extremely creative and capture things on the screen as simply as possible. Real quick, guys, if you are enjoying the video, and I know you are, you're enjoying it, so why don't you just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and help us out? Definitely appreciate it. Now back to the rest of the video. Now, if you couple the overall improvements to arguably the most important piece of the Samsung Galaxy Note, of course, which is the S Pen, with the improvements to the aspects of the overall smartphone, like getting an upgraded internal processing system. If you're in the States, you're actually getting the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus chipset. This enables 5G capability. 5G is a completely other conversation, but I do get pretty good 5G speeds where I'm at. I'm lucky enough to be in an area where 5G is prevalent and is available for the most part. If you're not in an area that currently offers 5G, one of the biggest reasons to purchase a 5G phone nowadays is that it's kind of future-proof. So when they begin to roll out 5G technology, which every company will eventually start doing, your phone is capable of harnessing that 5G power. But I'm not going to argue that it's not a specific buying factor for a smartphone yet. Now, you're also getting an extremely beautiful screen. Samsung does screens really well, and this is no different. It's a dynamic AMOLED screen that supports 120 Hertz on a refresh rate. Like I said, it's HDR10 plus certified. Watching videos on this thing is awesome. It's amazing. It's an edge-to-edge display, which isn't something new. We've seen that over the past couple of generations of phones, but the colors are bright and poppy. The text stands out. If you're a person that consumes a ton of media on your mobile device, like this guy over here, watching YouTube videos, videos, Netflix, Hulu, especially if you're someone in quarantine, you're reading a bunch of articles, everything on this phone really stands out. You're not going to have any issues reading text or seeing anything that's displayed on this extremely beautiful screen. Now, camera-wise, because I know camera is important to a lot of people out there, you're getting a standard rundown of an upgraded camera system from the S10. You're getting a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, a 108 megapixel wide camera, and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera. You're getting a 5x optical zoom and up to 50x super resolution zoom. I don't know who the hell is gonna need up to 50x of zoom, but if you need it, it's available. And as I always say in all of my review videos, especially for mobile devices, I am not a professional camera person. I don't use the camera the way a lot of influencers or a lot of reviewers actually use their camera. I will test the camera just by taking pictures, but in my average everyday life, I don't use my phone's camera that much except to take some really random pictures or some pictures for work or just in general, just pulling it out and capturing a moment. And I always appreciate when the hardware coupled with the software can do a lot of the heavy lifting for a novice average user like myself who really doesn't know much about taking pictures. My pictures usually come out blurry, but with these cameras, definitely not. The autofocusing is on point. The crispness, the cleanness of these pictures are on point. You don't have to be a professional because the camera with the software built in is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So all you really have to do as the user is pull the camera out in that moment, point and shoot, and you're getting some great pictures, and you're able to shoot 8K for whoever the hell has an 8K TV out there. I'm sure there's a ton of you, and 4K, and you have some really great video, and the motion stabilization on these cameras are amazing as well. These are a great set of cameras with 50x zoom. If you ever think you may need to zoom in that far, it's there. You'll be able to use it, and it's never a bad thing when you have the option, even if you're not going to use it, as long as the option is available. These are some really, really great cameras, and they'll take some amazing pictures that you can post everywhere and share with everyone without having to worry about it too much. Now, speaking of cameras, that actually leads us oddly enough into the design of the phone itself. I'm a big fan of the matte finish on the back of these phones. I'm also a big fan of the colors that these phones have to offer. The camera system on these phones actually add into the overall design of the phone itself because it's such a huge camera hump. It's unbelievable. It's big, it's square, it's very in your face. And I think Samsung's kind of leaning into this big camera hump design, but I actually like it. It's weird. I like the way this camera looks. It's definitely going to stick out. If you don't have a case on it, it's not going to lay flat on a table. It's going to wobble a lot. So you probably should put a case on these things because they're very expensive devices anyway. So you should probably protect them in some way. But the overall design of the phone is very sleek. It's basically all screen, matte finish on the back. The camera itself looks really stylish, as oddly shapen as it is. And it's very assuming you pull this phone out, people are going to notice it. Now, battery-wise, you're getting a 4500 milliamp hour battery. I found the battery life for this phone to be extremely capable. I'm a heavy user of my mobile device. I use my phone for just about everything. I average a lot of screen on time during the day, around 2 to 3 hours of screen on time, unlocking my phone about 60 to 70 times a day. I think I got a problem. And I'm able to get a full day's plus worth of batteries without any kind of issues whatsoever. I'm fortunate enough to always be in the vicinity of a charger, but if you're somebody that takes this phone out and about into the world throughout the day, you're probably not going to be craving power. You're probably going to be able to finish the day with about 20 to 30% worth of power, and you do have fast charging available via wireless charging 2.0, and also fast charging, of course, if you connect it via wire, so you'll be able to juice this thing up pretty quickly. I don't think you're going to have any battery issues with this. Now, you're getting about 12 gigs of RAM and 512 or 128 gigs of internal storage. And you do have a expandable micro SD slot that's expandable up to 8 terabyte. Performance wise, this thing flies. The improved refresh rate on the screen makes everything just seems buttery smooth. You're getting in and out of applications without any issue. Navigating the phone is smooth, no hiccups. And I think with that 12 gigs of RAM over time, as some phones get bogged down when the operating system gets patched and it starts to slow your phone down. I think with that 12 gigs of internal RAM, that's going to prevent that from happening, giving you even more longevity with this phone itself. And again, storage wise, you're getting either 512 or 128 gigs. That's pretty good storage, but if you do start running out of space, of course you have that expandable slot, which is always great, up to 8 terabytes. So I don't think storage is going to be an issue here anyway. And when it comes to spending a ton of money on mobile devices, we really have to account for whether it's worth the purchase or not. And like I said at the beginning of this video, this is possibly the final note in this particular iteration for Samsung Galaxy Notes going forward. Samsung's making some changes and it may not be available the way we know the Note as it is today. So to circle back around to the initial question we asked at the beginning of the video, is it worth purchasing if you have a Samsung Galaxy Note Plus from last year or a Note 9 from 2 years ago, I believe? I would say that the new improvements in the S Pen, the arguably most important thing about a Samsung Galaxy Note phone, the overall improvements in the refresh rate, you couple that with the new processor, the upgraded cameras, and again that this may be the last Note in this particular iteration, I would definitely believe that this is a worthy successor and a worthy upgrade from the Note 10. But on the flip side, if you're someone who doesn't use the S Pen or think you won't take full advantage of the S Pen, then I wouldn't suggest this phone for you, mainly because the S Pen is the biggest selling point. It's the biggest differentiating factor between this phone and every other phone that's available on the market. So if you're going to use the S Pen, most definitely this is one of the best Samsung Galaxy Notes you can pick up. If you're not going to use the S Pen, then there's a ton of other phones that are capable and compatible on the market that you can pick up without the biggest differentiating factor between them, which is that S Pen. I fully enjoyed my time using the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. It's bittersweet because again, this may be the last iteration of the Note as we know it as Samsung moves forward with its Note brand. But for the time being, this is a definite worthy successor, and if you're a Note lover like I am, this is probably one you don't want to skip. So anyway guys, that's going to do it for our look at the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Definitely recommend this phone, especially if you're a Note user. For nostalgic reasons, probably going to be the last Note in this iteration. And of course, if you're an S Pen user with that awesome low latency mode and the high refresh rate on the screen, going to be using your S Pen like a pro and loving every minute of it. But I definitely want to know what you guys have to say about the Note 20 Ultra. Is this a phone that you're looking at? Do you want to hold off and wait and see what Samsung does with the Note lineup in the coming future? Go ahead and comment in the comment section down below the video. I'd love to know what you guys think. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed the video at all, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and bell for notification, because that bell is pretty important. It's the only way you guys are going to know when we release some cool, helpful content like this one. Until next time, guys, I'm actually going to put our older review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, one of my favorite phones of last year. I'm going to throw that up there. And on the bottom is going to be something that YouTube believes you'd enjoy watching. Guys, thanks so much again for checking out the video. And as always, make sure to stay safe out there. And until I see you guys next time, peace out.